Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another World of Warcraft Classic Guide. My name is Cargos, and today I am super excited, not only because this is the 9th and final installation in the Class Leveling Guide series, but at the time of recording, it is November 2nd, 2018, and you likely know what that means. The BlizzCon World of Warcraft Classic demo is upon us, and in a few short hours, we will be playing Classic World of Warcraft officially in some capacity. So I couldn't be more excited to exist right now, and let's get into this priest leveling guide. So we're going to overview priests. I'm going to share with you my general impressions of priest leveling. I'm going to present a couple different talent builds per usual. We'll go over rotation and how that rotation is going to change throughout the different leveling brackets. We'll unpack some of the nuances around rotation, spell usage, DPME, stuff like that. We're going to go, I've included wand progression for both Alliance and Horde, and just various tips and tricks. You guys probably know the drill at this point. So before we get started, I just want to quickly shout out my collaborators on this project. We got Ensland, DZ Reams, Takanashi, Garfunkel, Deathcamp, and Harishi. We also did that 3-hour priest leveling workshop the other day on stream. Got some amazing feedback there. So thank you so very much to everybody that contributed something to this guide. It would not exist without your combined expertise. All right, so class overview. Off the cuff. Priests are strong, steady, stable, consistent levelers. They, contrary to what a lot of people might think, they might think that priests, maybe they struggle leveling. They do not struggle leveling. They have a nice one of the smoothest rides to 60. They have two talents in particular. They have improved, they have wand specialization, which is going to give them a flat 25% damage increase to their wands, as well as spirit tap, which we'll get into in a second. And these two talents alone just carry them so hard. They have one of the probably the most mana efficient damage rotation cycle as far as spellcasters go. Very smooth, consistent. The self-healing is good group utility. Just a very, very, very fun and solid class to level. As far as some of the downsides, though, as priests, I guess we're moving to the cons now. Some of the cons is that they have no movement boosting abilities or talents whatsoever, so they definitely have that low mobility. They don't really have an on-demand slow other than like Mind Flay, so that can be an issue when it comes to escaping. They've kind of limited escape tools. All you really have is Psychic Scream and run away. Also, there's some wand dependence there. On a fresh server, if you can't get a wand early, not having a wand is a real pain on a priest. And then keeping your wand relevant as you level is also going to be, a very big consideration. And then they have kind of a mediocre single target kill speed, but it's not all about kill speed at the end of the day. A penny saved is a penny earned, and if they have no downtime, which they really don't if played, optimally, this is a big strength for them. So some of the pros, they have a tier 2 leveling speed, mana efficient solo grinding, 0 downtime, flexible talents pre-40 or 45, depending on whether you want to respec at 40 for Shadow Form or if you want to wait till 45 so you can keep that wand specialization going for you. Desired in groups, they can heal or DPS. You have Mind Control, one of my favorite abilities in the game. You can potentially kill 2 elites at once, just having them kill each other. And also the unique priest racials offer another kind of just flavorful, cool dynamic to roll in priest. So I'm going to spend 2 minutes and 2 minutes only on general leveling tips. This is kind of the general disclaimer we put in for every class. I would feel bad without including this in a leveling guide. So ideally, you want to kill mobs that are going to be the best XP to time. So the only mobs that are going to give you 100% of their base XP reward value are going to be mobs of equal level. So just factor this in. It's going to be an efficiency equation. If you're killing mobs super quick and they're like a level or 2 below you, it might be worth it. It may be worth it to only just kill mobs at your level or 1 level above. That's what I look for when I'm leveling, just at my level or 1 level above. Front load your spells and abilities. Very, very important on a priest. Get that spirit-based mana regeneration ticking again ASAP. Push the limits of your combat efficiency. Based on the ranks of your spells, you're gonna have to potentially use different. Your rotation's gonna change. The level of the mob. Blah 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 blah. You guys get it, right? And that ties into be adaptive with your damage rotation cycle. So don't sit at full resources. Go hard. If you're finishing the fight with full resources, you're probably misplaying. You need to push yourself a little bit harder. So leveling speed is the sum total of 3 things: in combat time, out of combat time, and travel time. In combat time is when you're actively engaging targets. You are killing. This is referring to your kill speed. Out of combat time is time spent. Is mandatory time spent to regenerate, get yourself back into a combat ready state. This is going to be drinking, healing, bandaging, things like this. Priests have very little out of combat time, and travel time is the time spent moving from objective to objective. All right, so here's some graphs here on the percent XP gain per mob level. This is actually really useful. So let's say you're like level 38 and you want to see how much experience a mob one level below you would be. You would go to 38, you'd look down, you go, okay, one level below, 91.49%, 2 levels below, 82.9 whatever percent, so on and so forth. So it's a pretty useful resource. So choosing a race, the pre-stat modifier is +2 intellect, +3 spirit. So we're going to talk about the Bis Priest race for both Alliance and Horde PvE and PvP. So you can see some minor differences in the primary base stat values. As far as just the default racials, perception is the stealth attack. Dwarves have stone form, Night Elf shadow meld, Will of the Forsaken, berserking. Anyway, here are the priest specific racials, or the priest racials, right? So in Classic WoW, if you didn't know, priests have an additional 2 racials based on their race, which is kind of crazy. It's extremely flavorful. But we got humans on the Alliance side. They got Desperate Prayer, Feedback. Dwarves have Desperate Prayer and Fear Ward. Night Elves have Star Shards and Illumin's Grace. So we'll try and keep this section as short as possible. Bis in PvE is going to be Dwarf. The Fear Ward is extremely valuable in both PvE and PvP. Also, Desperate Prayer is quite nice for that just on-demand instant mega heal. Bis in PvP is going to also be Dwarf. Now, at the end of the day, play what you like, but this is just sort of the case. All right, Horde Priest racials, we have Troll Priest with Shadow Guard and Hex of Weakness. We have Undead Priest with Touch of Weakness and Devouring Plague. The Bis in PvE is going to be Troll here. The Berserking racial is going to have a haste component to it between 10 and 30%, so that's going to directly benefit your casting. Also, Shadow Guard is something that's grown on me the more I've learned about it. It scales really well with spell damage. You can downrank it. Does quite a substantial bit of damage. You can proc Blackout. Devouring Plague seems quite strong, and the healing component is quite strong, but it is a disease. It is cleansable. It is something you can potentially stone form out of, and a quick dispel, removing all that value from the mana. It is on a 3-minute cooldown, so it's not as good as it might initially seem. Also, Touch of Weakness is a tad underwhelming. So anyway, Bis in PvP is going to be Undead primarily due to that Will of the Forsaken, and Bis in PvE is going to be Troll. All right, so about spell hit. As a spellcaster, you will always have a 1% chance to miss with your spell. So it's like a 99%, you can only cap up to 99%. There's no way to get to 100% hit, right? So against a target of the same level, you will have a 4% chance to miss. So you will need 3% hit to cap, right? That's the most you can get. A target 1 level higher, you're gonna need 4% to cap. A target 2 levels higher, you're gonna need 5% to cap. And here's the real important thing. Against a target that's 3 levels higher, you need 16% to cap. So that's where the real drop-off comes. You really don't want to be fighting mobs that are 3 levels higher. You're going to have a bad time, and all the hit in the world, it's going to be borderline impossible to get 16% hit while you're leveling. So just fight mobs within the correct level range. All right. Priest spell efficiency. So we get 2 amazing people put together these resources, which we're going to see in the next couple slides. We have DZ Reams and Enslin. Off the back of the priest leveling workshop we did, they were kind enough to share this information. This is really, really good stuff. You're seeing the damage per mana efficiency, the DPS, the delta of the damage here on the right for Mind Blast, Mind Flay, Smite, and Holy Fire, and Shadow Word Pain. We're going to see how these things scale. We'll have kind of a little TLDR thing on the next slide. So as you can see, so Smite, Holy Fire, and Mind Flay are being compared here. And the real point that I want to stress first and foremost is that Mind Flay is pretty weak early on. It's pretty weak. As you can see, it's significantly below both Holy Fire and Smite in terms of damage per mana efficiency. So, even if we have access to Mind Flay, and we probably will take Mind Flay for its utility in PvP, in PvE, you don't really want to use Mind Flay early, right? And the idea that Smite potentially is even more efficient than Holy Fire was something I really did not know, because I always imagine Holy Fire, it's a longer cast, it's got that little dot component to it, that Holy Fire has to be more efficient than Smite, but actually Smite is more efficient. And as you can see, it's pretty, there's this kind of stair-step progression, right? Because when you get a different rank of a spell, and then it kind of, then a few levels go by. So the levels to 60 are on the x-axis, and then the efficiency is on the y-axis. So here's some more info on pre-spell efficiency. This one's comparing a few more spells. So Smite, Holy Fire, Shadow Word Pain, Mind Blast, and Mind Flay. So Shadow Word Pain is going to be your most damage to mana efficient spell, followed by Mind Blast, followed by Smite, followed by Holy Fire, followed by Mind Flay. But as you can see, Mind Flay from, let's say like mid-40s to 60, it starts to scale a lot better, right? You see it spike up like that. But, from 20 to 40, it's pretty underwhelming. So, feel free to come back and reference these as you go. So here's the TLDR DPME ranking. Keep in mind, this is just a generalized, DPME ranking, and you're going to get different ranks of spells as you go. So just think carefully. You can always just divide the damage by the mana cost and come up with that efficiency. But it's generally going to be Shadow Word Pain, Mind Blast, Smite, Holy Fire, Mind Flay, and then like Devouring Plague. All right. So here's another interesting thing that you can do, and it's weaving melee attacks between your wand shots. So, your wand is going, when you shoot with your wand, it's going to trigger that global cooldown. You're going to see it rotate. So the fastest wand you can get really is 1.5 seconds, because that's the global cooldown, right? So you're not going to be able to wand faster than every 1.5 seconds. But you can weave in melee attacks in between your wand shots. They're kind of on different swing timers. Now, I would recommend getting a weapon that is faster. We did some testing, but there still needs to be some more testing done on this. It's definitely a damage increase. It's hard to tell exactly, what the optimal strat is, but feel it out. That's what I would do if I were you guys. I would try and get a weapon that is the same speed as my wand, or is just as fast as possible. You're probably not going to be able to get one that's as fast as your wand. And then as soon as you shoot, and like the animation, happens, you will hit your auto attack, and you'll try and hit them, and you'll try and weave these melee attacks in between your wand shots, and this will boost your damage. So as you can see, there's a little example against the Harvest Watcher right there. My shoot crits it for 45, then I melee it for 43, then I shoot it again for 26. So this is something that's going to be able to boost your damage. You just play with it as you go, and see if it's going to be worth it for you. So pre-specific tips, there's some juicy stuff here, I guess. So Power Word Shield will gain value from inner focus, so it's going to benefit from that armor gain. We don't know 100% if that's going to be Blizz-like or not, but we'll soon find out. You can use different ranks of Psychic Scream, so down rank your Psychic Scream. It's going to cost a lot less mana, so rank 1 will fear 2 targets, rank 2 will fear 3 targets, so on and so forth. Weave melees between one shots. You should rarely ever have to hard cast a heal after a fight. You're going to prevent damage with Power Word Shield, or potentially Renew or something like that. And then after the fight, your Spirit Tap should be able to sustain you. If you're fighting elites or difficult mobs, you want to front load that Weakened Soul debuff, so you can actually use your Power Word Shield. So like early on in the fight, you just want to get that Weakened Soul debuff ticking, so you don't run into a situation where you can't Psychic Scream and Power Word Shield. Also, generally, if you pull multiple mobs, you're going to want to dot them up with Shadow Word Pain, then use the appropriate rank of of Psychic Scream to fear them, and then just focus down one at a time.
Obsessed, totally infatuated with how amazing foreign sounds and languages make you feel related to people I don't look, lip, or talk alike. Or so it seems, because we come from different walks of life.
这些年我就在想，我到底是中国人还是美国人？但是我想给大家看，通过音乐这个语言，大家其实可以都是融合在一起的一个很完美的一个结合。就小时候，那时候11岁离开中国去美国跟妈妈住。
Back in the days, I'm not a kid anymore. Some days I still wish I was a kid again. Back in the days, I'm not a kid anymore.
对，就是刚去美国的时候，跟妈妈有个让我学英。
All right, life 1 to 10, you're going to want to buy a wand and a quiver, potentially ASAP. It's a little bit of a meme, but, it's going to increase your range attack speed by 10%. If you don't have full bag slots, then you might as well, and, so it's going. Your wand is going to benefit from increased range attack speed by 10%. Train all the skills in this area. If you, at level 10, if your money's going to permit and you're in a major city, I would train staffs or staves. So the single target rotation, you're going to either put renew or power word shield on you. Before, there's some pros and cons to using either or. You can use power word shield, way before a fight starts, so then you can regenerate that mana, then engage the target with the shield on. So there's some MP5 implications there as opposed to renew, and renew can potentially overheal, but renew is generally a more mana efficient spell. So you're going to put one of those on you. You're going to smite into a Shadow Word Pain. So you're going to notice this is kind of the general strat. You're going to hard cast something into an instant cast, and then you're going to do the wand shot into melee kind of combo back and forth. So the multi-target rotation, this is going to be pretty similar throughout the different stages of the game as well. You're going to hard cast onto one, put that Shadow Word Pain on, dot target 2, and then Psychic Scream. At this stage, you're not going to have Psychic Scream, but then you're just going to do the wand. You're going to focus one down individually. So just dot multiple. 10 to 20. Same kind of situation. You're going to have Mind Blast at this stage. So if you can sustain it with Spirit Tap, you can do both Smite and Mind Blast. I would start with Smite first because it's a longer cast, followed by Mind Blast as a shorter cast, and then you can do a Shadow Word Pain and do the same thing. You're gonna also have Psychic Scream at this stage. You're gonna have Fort and Inner Fire, so keep Inner Fire buffed as well because your Power Word Shield will benefit from Inner Fire. So that's pretty much it. 10 to 20. 20 to 40, you're going to have Holy Fire on the table. So depending on what rank of Smite or Holy Fire, just do the little efficiency equation, divide the damage by the mana cost, and see which one's going to be more optimal. Holy Fire is a pretty long cast, so you'd pull with Holy Fire into a Mind Blast, into a Shadow Word Pain, then proceed to do the wand melee combo. Now it may be more efficient for you just based on the way it all pans out, just to use Mind Blast into Shadow Word Pain. That may be optimal. But if you have extra mana, if you can sustain it, then go ahead and weave additional Smites or Holy Fires into your rotation. So that is it for 20 to 40. Then 40 to 60, you're going to have access to Mind Flay. So keep in mind that in these lower levels, we're not using Mind Flay. We're likely going to get Mind Flay for utility and PvP purposes, but we're not using Mind Flay until much later. So it's really, as you saw in that initial graph, Mind Flay starts to become kind of more efficient to use as you start to get more synergy with some of your deeper shadow talents, and you get some higher ranks of it. So from 40 to 60, as you can see, there is no more Smite or Holy Fire here. It's going to likely be Mind Blast into Shadow Word Pain, into a couple Mind Flays, into your little wand melee combo. Now, I wouldn't use Vampiric Embrace on every single mob. It is very low mana cost, so it's not a lot of impact, but you are using a global. But if you have a little chip damage on you and you want to sustain, you can throw a Vampiric Embrace in. I'd put it in after the Shadow Word Pain. I'd put on Vampiric Embrace. So we'll get into Vampiric Embrace, but it essentially heals you. So for the shadow damage, for the amount of shadow damage that you do to the target. So at this, you're going to have Shadow Form, so you're going to keep Shadow Form on you. You can only use Discipline spells when you're in Shadow. You're not going to be able to cast, like, Renew when you're in Shadow Form, so that's why Renew is not listed there as part of your single target rotation, really. So now we're going to get into talent builds. All right, so here we are on the talent calculator. Let me break it down for you. So 1 to 39, we're not going to go that deep into Shadow. We're just going to pick up some key amenities, and then we're going to either go primarily Discipline or Holy. Now, the advantage of going primarily Discipline is that you'll have some better sustain. You'll be able to have a little more mana, a little more resources. Holy will be the absolute fastest if you're trying to push kill times, because we are going to be using Holy Fires and Smites and stuff pre-40. So let me show you the Discipline Shadow variation first. So the first executive decision we have to make is whether we're going to go Wand Spec or Spirit Tap. This is a highly polarizing argument. You have some people that are like die-hard Spirit Tap first, some people that are die-hard Wand Spec first. Now, my view on it is that, if it's a fresh server, you may not have access to wands till 15 when you can buy the first white wand at the vendor. So if that is the case, go Spirit Tap first. Obviously, you don't have a wand, right? But if it's not a fresh server and you're going to have access to a wand and you can buy one off the auction house or, just get one, then wand specialization first. So we're gonna assume that, we're going to get a wand, all right? We're going to get a wand first. We're going to go 5 out of 5 wand spec first. Then we're going to go 5 out of 5 Spirit Tap. The other thing to unpack about this is that the early regen is pretty nutty, right? It's pretty high, so it's not, you don't really like need this extra boost from Spirit Tap right away. You already regen pretty quick in the early levels, right? So we're gonna go Wand Spec first, then Spirit Tap, then we're gonna go down and get 2 out of 2 improved Shadow Word Pain, and 3 into Shadow Focus. So 6% in the Shadow Focus is gonna cap you out against mobs that are 2 levels higher than you, right? And it'll give you another 1% on top of that too. So this resist reduces your chance to resist your shadow spells. This is spell hit, so you can just literally think of this as spell hit. So right after Shadow Focus, we're actually going to pick up Mind Flay. I thought long and hard about this, but the thing is, just get this and use it for like PvP, use it for utility-based stuff. Maybe you're going to Psychic Scream something and you want to slow it down so it doesn't pull other mobs or something. Don't weave this into your bread and butter damage rotation cycle, but it is a nice tool to have, and it's 1 point, and we're already going this deep with, you know, improved Shadow Word Pain and 3 out of 5 Shadow Focus. So we do pick up Mind Flay, and then we're going to go into the Discipline tree. We're going to pick 2 out of 2 Martyrdom. So Martyrdom is going to put a whole new mechanic on the table for you. It gives you a 100% chance to gain a focused casting effect that lasts for 6 seconds after being the victim of a melee or ranged critical strike. So yes, priests are going to benefit from a /sit macro as well as a lot of other classes. So basically, it's not as good as it might seem because you have stuff like Absorbs, you have Psychic Scream, right? So these are probably tools you're going to turn to first, but you will still find applications to get value out of Martyrdom. It's also going to be good in PvP. So essentially, if you really need to free cast, you're going to /sit, and the next attack on you will crit you, but you will be able to free cast pretty much, both offensive or defensive abilities. If you Mind Flay, the Mind Flay won't be interrupted. That's just a little juicy thing. So getting 2 points into this is going to put that mechanic on the table for you, and that's going to be more impactful than getting a few extra points, Absorb points in Power Word Shield. Now at this point, we're going to go 3 into Improved Power Word Shield, followed by 1 into Inner Focus. Then we're going to go 3 into Meditation, followed by 1 into Improved Power Word Shield. And then we're going to finish off to 39 in Mental Agility. Now you're going to respec at 40 anyway, but you know, if you want to respec at 45, you can absolutely do that too with any of these specs. So some people don't like to respec, you know, right away. They just like prefer the wand specialization for a bit longer. That's fine too. But IMO respec at 40. So we're going to respec at 40, and this is what it's going to look like. We're going to respec here. So the order of operations doesn't matter, obviously, because you're respecking, but you're going to go 5 into Spirit Tap, you're going to go 2 into Improved Pain, 3 into Shadow Focus, Mind Flay, Psychic Scream. We're going to put a couple into Blackout, 5 into Shadow Weaving, Vampiric Embrace, Silence, 3 into Shadow Reach, 5 into Darkness, and Shadow Form. So this is what it should look like at 40. You're going to have Silence on the table, you're going to have Vampiric Embrace. It was pretty much a resounding answer that improved Vampiric Embrace was very underwhelming and not worth the points in it. Now, the only thing that you could kind of switch up with this is you could put 5 out of 5 into Blackout here and give you that 10% chance to stun the target for 3 seconds with Shadow spells. But for PvE and PvP, I always gravitate generally towards stuff that's going to increase movement speed or range. So I prefer Shadow Reach here, but that is another option on the table for you. So at this point at 40, you're going to proceed as follows. You're going to go into the Discipline tree, and you're going to put 5 out of 5 Wand Specialization. We're going to kind of follow that same path. 2 into Martyrdom, 3 into Shield, Inner Focus, Meditation, Fort, Mental Agility, and we're done. So that is the first kind of balanced, 1 to 39 Disc Shadow into respecking at 40 and going Shadow Disc. Now the next build I want to share is kind of a slight variation to this. So I don't want to take a whole bunch of time and explain it and go back to the PowerPoint. I just want to show you, the difference from 1 to 39. So one thing you should keep in mind too, as long as you have Wand Spec and Spirit Tap 5 out of 5, you're going to have a good time. You can actually be pretty flexible with your talents, but just keep that in mind, right? So anyway, the variation, if you were going to push for absolute speed, if you were going to go for absolute speed, right, even at the cost of a little sustain, 1 to 39 or 1 to 40, you're going to be going Holy Shadow pretty much. You're still going to pick up Discipline and Martyrdom, but you're going to be using Smites and Holy Fires during this stage of the game and getting that additional 5% crit and the reduced cast time on Divine Fury is going to actually push your damage a little bit. So I'll take you through that again. We're going to start off with Wand Spec or Spirit Tap based on, the dynamic of the server and what you have access to. And then we are going to go Shadow Word Pain and 3 into Shadow Word Focus. We're going to go 1 into Mind Flay to get that on the table, 2 into Martyrdom. Now at this point, we're going to go 5 into Holy Spec, 5 into Divine Fury. So now we are at 37. So the last couple points, you can it's a little bit flexible here. You can literally go into Power Word Shield up to 40, or you can even potentially put some into Blessed Recovery to kind of regen a little bit of that extra damage taken from the crit. But it's really your prerogative. So we're gonna put 3 into Power Word Shield, and it's gonna take us to 40. So the third and final spec I'm going to present for you guys is a smite spec. It is not a meme. It's an actual thing. It could be more attractive to people that want to do some more healing. You'll be stronger healing. Maybe you don't want to be a ghost boy. You don't want to be the little dark priest guy. You want to smite your way to victory, and this is a more attractive playstyle to you. Then this might be for you. So real quick, we're not going to have access to improved Shadow Word Pain, getting that extra 2 ticks. We're not going to have Shadow Focus. We're not even going to have Shadow Form. We're only taking Spirit Tap in the Shadow Tree. Then we're going to go Holy Disc, and we're going to stack Spirit like crazy. We're going to go down to like Spiritual Guidance and increase your spell damage and healing by up to 25% of your Spirit. And we're going to go down and get Divine Spirit in Discipline. So I will walk you through this. We're going to go 5 Wand Spec, Spirit Tap. Now we're done. We're not getting any of these tier 2 talents here in the Shadow Tree. I know it looks a little funky, but we're going to go back and get Martyrdom to bring this mechanic online. It is just going to be worth it. Then we're going to go 5 into Holy Spec, 5 into Divine Fury. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 into Renew, 1, 2 into Blessed Recovery. Then we're going to go 2 into Searing Light, 1, 2, 3 into Improved Healing, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into Spiritual Guidance. Now, at this point, we're going to move into the Discipline Tree. We're going to put 3 into Improved Power Word Shield, 1 into Inner Focus. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 into Meditation, 1 into Improved Power Word Shield, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into Mental Agility, and finish with Divine Spirit. So this is the Smite build for you guys. And the reason why we're not taking those extra 2 ticks of Shadow Word Pain, just real quick, is that because we're going to be like hard casting, some more smites and stuff, which offer a higher, DPS at the cost of mana and stuff. In theory, your Shadow Word Pain is not going to be active and on a single target for as long, right? So that is the third and final option for you. So we are back to the lovely PowerPoint presentation, moving on to stat priority. So basically you want to stack Spirit as a priest, followed by Intellect, then Stamina, then Agility for those fat wand crits, then Strength. So the reason why you want to stack Agility is primarily because of Spirit Tap, or if you're going the Smite spec, you get the bonus damage from stacking Spirit as well. But it's mainly for Spirit Tap. So Spirit Tap is going to give you a 100% bonus after killing a mob that grants you XP. It's going to give you a 100% bonus to your Spirit for a period of time. It's going to help you regen super quick. It's going to reduce that downtime. It is super, super good. Followed by Intellect, then Stamina, then Agility, then Strength. So the gear you're going to be looking for, we have this nifty chart here provided by Tim's. Thank you so much. It's going to be of the Owl. That's going to be Bis for you, followed by of the Whale, followed by of the Eagle. So now here's a leveling guide for Alliance made by the lovely Enzlin. He was kind enough to share all these materials with us. So keep this in mind. It still could be of use if you are Horde, if you're going into the more contested mid-game zones. Here's the 1 to 30. Here's the 30 to 60. Now, here's also Alliance wand progression. So we got wand progression for both Alliance and Horde. Here's my take on the wand progression. Here is Enzlin's take on the wand progression. He did a very thorough job, more thorough than me. So this is a great resource. Again, this is from Alliance perspective though, so not all of Enzlin's are going to be able to be accessible for Horde. He even included some PvP matchups, some little notes that if you're out in the open world, you can just take a look at these notes as far as how to fight certain classes, some PvP tips on the side. And then we got Horde 1 progression, and that should be it. Again, I know I'm scrolling through those super quick, but if you want to take a closer look at them, definitely check out the PowerPoint presentation. There will be a link in the comments and in the description of the video. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. We are done. We've done all 9 classes now. We have class leveling guides for every class in Classic World of Warcraft. Thank you so much for your patience and for sticking with me.